negativity, focus.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello and welcome everybody to episode 87 of the GGG Podcast. I'm Paul, and as always, I am joined by my illustrious co-host, Phil. We got a good episode for you this week. Mafia the Old Country comes out. We're going to be talking a little bit about that and lots of interesting news. Jump Ship is changing its name. Halo's coming to Fortnite. Darksiders 4 has been announced. Nintendo's raising prices. Battlefield 6 is all over the gamerverse. I feel like it's kind of taking over all gaming websites right now, just with a flood of marketing and whatnot. So we're going to be talking about that for the main topic. But before we get into it, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the GGG Podcast, follow us on YouTube. We would appreciate it. And if you're listening to the audio-only version on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, follow us over there as well. Phil, how are you doing this week? Have you played some games? Have you had some other things going on? What's the vibe over there?
I've gotten to play a little bit of Marvel Rivals this week.
Mm-hmm.
Really been enjoying this season. Lots to do. I'm trying to think if there's anything like I've been just trying to they have these new things that are like do 7 or new missions that are do 7 matches as a duelist, do 7 matches as a tank, do 7 matches as a strategist. So I've been kind of messing around with who I get to play as.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made me really enjoy playing as Ultron. Now that I got the hang of him a little bit.
Yeah, I love Ultron. Oh my god.
Ultron's quite good. If you can match him up with Iron Man, if both people stick on it, it's pretty deadly.
Mm-hmm.
I've also gotten to play a bit of Rematch. We got to play some last week. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza, I was playing a little bit of that earlier today. But it hit me that I'd have a Switch 2, and I haven't spent that much time playing my Switch 2 because there's good games on it, but it's just for more I've been playing a lot more Mario Kart than I thought I would because I showed people it. I'm like, oh, we can play Mario Kart, and it's really good, but it was never a reason to buy the Switch 2 for me. So
sure. Well, I mean,
kind of.
Go ahead.
I was going to say kind of a lot of things. I've been playing a lot of things. But
a little smorgasbord, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Mario Kart it's such an arcadey game. It's almost easier to pick up and put down in smaller doses. When you're doing like a full adventure game like Donkey Kong Bonanza, I feel like it's more of a commitment. And so being like, I want to play a couple hours of this, not just 10 minutes, not just do one race in Mario Kart. So I think that makes sense. And I feel that's always been my thing of when it comes to portable gaming. I mean, not to say that you obviously can't play Switch games on a TV, but if I'm going to play Legend of Zelda, I'd rather play that on a TV versus if I'm going to play this more arcadey game, I want to play it on a handheld. That's really, there are certain games I will not play on my PlayStation Portal. And it's I just want to keep the arcadey stuff on my PlayStation Portal. So yeah. But I've still been playing lots of No Man's Sky, but kind of a lot of free-to-play stuff. The finals I've been playing. I've gotten a little bit back into Marvel Rivals, trying to grind through before we make the jump into season 1.5 with the Blade update coming later this week. So I've been trying to get through all of those quests before it's over. And then I have jumped back into V Rising. I'm trying to maybe get my friends back on board for doing a public server or something like that now that the game has relaunched. So maybe I'll be jumping back into that. But honestly, I'm kind of looking forward. I'm looking ahead to the other games coming out this year, and including Mafia the Old Country that's coming out this week. So I don't know if I'll purchase it, but again, that $50 price point is kind of putting me in the maybe place. So yeah. But I'm really just excited. Speaking of which.
Oh, it's crazy that game's coming out this week.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was kind of a big deal. Seemingly, the announcement and the game itself seems like a Grand Theft Auto
right?
Much like the Mafia games always kind of have been. And I don't know if too much damage has been done to the brand, but it is interesting that Mafia 3 is kind of skittering out there to menial August release,
What do you mean Mafia 3? You mean this one?
Or is this Mafia 4, Mafia Old Country?
This
What
is,
is
I think it's technically Mafia 4, but yeah, it's Mafia
Mafia
the Old
4?
Country. And
Mhm.
so on the week you were gone, we actually talked about Mafia quite a bit, and we found out that the game is completely linear.
Oh,
So that it is not a Grand Theft Auto like.
ooh.
So it should be quite interesting. But yeah, that and then we talked about because it's at a $50 price point, so I think they know they're offering just like this is a fun ride, but when you're done,
Mhm.
you can get off of that ride. It's kind of a thing.
Listen, I'll take that sometimes, but I think that is going to be, no offense to Mafia Old Country. We'll see how the reviews are, but that's
Yeah,
probably going to be like a $20 game.
or a Game Pass game. We'll see. We'll
A
see.
game, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
but that okay, so that is our release for this week.
that
That is our
is
big
our
release.
major release for this week. There's lots of teeny tiny little games coming out on Switch, Switch One, and PC and mobile and whatnot, but nothing quite worth mentioning. I mean, Titan Quest 2 came out as well. For people unfamiliar with Titan Quest, it's kind of like a Diablo like, but it's based in, I believe, like a Greek setting. So think of God of War, Diablo style type of a thing. But you can't just make Kratos in Diablo 4, which is what I did, and I made a pretty good Kratos, if I do say so myself. So. Um, so, so yeah, let's jump into the news this week. So first up, Jump Ship, the co-op space adventure game that I have been hyping up on this podcast because I want people to play it because I'm very excited for the format, is surprisingly rebranding and changing its name to Jump Ship, or excuse me, Jump Space. Did I say that the whole thing backwards? It was Jump Ship. It's going to be Jump Space, which I'll be honest, I don't love Jump Space. I don't love that name. But because of a trademark problem, they are unable to keep the name Jump Ship before launch. But I will note that there is going to be a Jump Ship press release that comes out. I believe it's set for August 20th, where they are supposedly going to be announcing the release date and a bunch of new features that are going to be coming to the game upon said release. So that's very exciting that we're going to be getting more news. I don't love the name, but I guess you got to do what you got to do. And if the trademark fiasco was too big of a problem, whatever.
Yeah, it's a big bummer that Jump Ship isn't going to keep its name because that's kind of the the ship is such a big part of it,
Yeah.
and jumping outside of your ship is a big part of it. But a bright side is the game will still be the game.
Yep.
Like they don't have to change that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jump Space is a little bit. It just makes it sound a little cheaper, weirdly enough. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
It
Like
does.
generic.
It does. It sounds more generic, and it doesn't. Does it make sense? I don't know. A
Mm.
little bit. Should it have been Space Jump? You know.
Space jumpers. No, that's yeah, that's a bummer. Isn't there? So what's the ex Blizzard folks who made a similar game?
So that is
Um,
Wildgate. That is off to a very kind of mid start right
mhm.
now. So I believe it came out 2 weeks ago. But yeah, the ex Blizzard CEO started a company and released Wildgate. I believe it's on sale for $30. It's very much like a Sea of Thieves type of game. I've
Mhm.
been kind of, to be honest, because this rivals Jump Space, I've been kind of
Mhm.
passively like trying to not address this game. But the thing is, like, there's
Now there's no jump ship to compete with. Now it's
yeah,
competing with Jump Space.
yep. But because of the PvP element in Wildgate, I'm a little reluctant to try it out.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. If I had some friends who really wanted to play it, I think I could get on board. But I'm not going to be the leader of the Wildgate ship, so to speak. So, yeah. Have you seen a lot about Wildgate?
I just see a lot of ads for it. I think it
Yeah.
knows that we talk about Jump Ship. Like my computer's doing the targeting ads thing.
Right.
But it is I think it's kind of like a lot of things I would be interested in. And as someone who also played, what was that game that we played that no one else played and then it went away forever?
Concord.
Concord.
Yeah.
It does seem like it's picking up some pieces that Concord left, but adding like the jump space mechanics in there.
Right.
Because it doesn't seem like as open as an experience as jump space is going to be. It seems like a very focused on the PvP
Yeah.
aspect of
Focus
it.
on blowing a
So,
hole in the ship and getting aboard and killing everybody, and which
yeah.
again sounds fun, but I would like I don't, and I'm not sure if there is, but perhaps a PvE mode or something like that. I know from playing Red Dead Redemption Online, there's nothing that irritates me more than working really hard for 2 hours on a mission, only to have someone take it all.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that's not how I want to enjoy my leisure time. So, like,
It's very similar with Sea of Thieves, where you've spent like 45 minutes corralling your group of idiot friends to go get a treasure thing, and then right before you get back to your
yeah,
mission start, you get blown up.
yeah,
But
100%.
it is funnier in that game because it doesn't matter. But
Sure. Yeah, I mean, but there's still like cosmetics you can buy and upgrades and stuff like that in Sea of Thieves. So it's interesting. My girlfriend is playing another Crab's Treasure, which is
oh yeah.
yes, it was kind of like a little indie hit that came out a little while ago, and I was watching her and I was like, "Is this a Souls like?" And she's like, "What is that?" And I was like, it's like when you die, you drop your experience. Then if you die again, your experience is just gone and you can't pick it back up. And she was like, oh, yes, I hate it. She's like, I hate wasting time. So yeah, definitely a similar. I understand there's a lot of people who love that stuff. It's not for me. Not for me. All right. Well, pressing right along, we got some Fortnite news. Two interesting things coming to Fortnite. One is Power Rangers, and the other is Halo. And we're getting some sort of, Phil, I believe you called it before we started recording, kind of Helldivers esque bug type event. I definitely think that's what it is, and it definitely
Yeah.
fits with Halo. I don't know about Power Rangers, but the Power Ranger ad was very funny. So I have to commend them on that.
It seems like a very unique mashup. So obviously we'll get like, Master Chief and other Spartan skins and Power Ranger skins. But in terms of gameplay mechanics, it does seem like there's this overwhelming force of like epic generic bugs, and seemingly new weapons and the ability to summon the Megazord to fight the bugs for you, which is pretty cool. Something they've been doing a lot for Fortnite lately, where either you play as like Godzilla, or there was an emblem you could get recently that would turn you into Superman, and you
Mm.
could like fly around the map and mess people up.
I think it's back
So
temporarily right now, actually.
is it?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to hop in. I never got it, so I'm bummed.
No.
But yeah,
But yeah, it seems cool. Is this what Halo fans wanted? Did they? I mean, this is what Halo fans are going to get. It doesn't matter what they want
well,
at this
this
point.
yeah, this is what they're getting.
I don't know. I feel like this is more of a introduction to Halo for kids who never played it because the game is too old now.
Yeah.
So kind of like, oh, that's the guy from Fortnite. It's like, no, that's the guy from popular media in the '90s. You silly kid.
Any one of them.
Yep.
But hey, listen. Well, actually, no. There is a new Halo Infinite update to their multiplayer that's recently gone in.
Mhm.
They've added some new weapons and vehicles. I don't know the name of the update, but I do think there is something to be said for this is coinciding with that.
Mhm.
Um, it is a bummer though because I feel like all six people playing Halo Infinite still probably won't play Fortnite, and they're probably all just using aimbots so much that they're hardly even playing the game as is. So, it's Halo's in a really great spot.
Whoo, Phil, did you ever love Halo at one point in your life?
I loved Halo so much, and I loved Halo Infinite when it came out, but
Hmm.
it was just so replete with freaking aimbot people. Like they would
Yeah.
go on TikTok Live and play the game with their aimbot on, like, and you could see it targeting people. And they over at 343 Industries seem to have no interest in curbing that
Yeah,
whatsoever.
where's the anti-cheat? There's no anti-cheat running. So, uh, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, c'est la vie. This is what you get, Halo fans. I'm sorry. Maybe it's time to move on. But I don't know. Maybe it's really fun in Fortnite because Fortnite has that weird, quirky ability of making everything fun again. So
It does. Yeah, it's weird. It's I think what it is like Fortnite is for kids, so they're like, I don't know. Just like
make it
make
fun.
Halo cheap. Yeah, make him be able to punch John Cena and they do it. You're like, "Wow, that is actually what I wanted."
Yep. All right. Well, pressing right along, Darksiders 4 got announced today, which is really not an announcement I was expecting to see at all. To be honest, I'm surprised there was a Darksiders 3. So that's interesting. For those unfamiliar with the Darksiders series, I believe it came out back in the 360 era, and it originally you played as War, one of the riders of the apocalypse, and then as two in Darksiders 2, I think you played as Death, and as 3 you played as something else. And you would suspect that in 4 you'd play the last horseman of the apocalypse, but no, this is actually going to be a fully cooperative experience where you can play as any of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So I think that that's kind of fun. I
Yeah.
don't really know how much this franchise, like, do they really have the fandom still? Is this like a cult classic game that people are keeping propped up? I know that THQ is putting it out, or at least like I believe they are. Let me just double check that fact because I thought THQ was out of business. No, it is THQ Nordic
Hmm.
that is putting the game out. So I don't know. It has the potential to be interesting. So far, we just got like a teaser cinematic, though, no gameplay. I'm kind of curious what they do with the art style in this game because it started as a very kind of cartoony looking game, and for the subject material, I'm not really sure that art style fits that place anymore. You could be like, well, it was on the 360, they couldn't do super amazing graphics back then, but it's like, yeah, well, now they can do better. So is
They
this
could.
yeah, is this a DC
Well,
comic? Is this Hellboy? I don't know. How do you feel
it's
about this,
it's
Phil?
I am glad that I was gonna say Helldivers. I am glad that Darksiders is getting its final installment because they kind of initially advertised that they were going to be making 4 games. Each one you would play as, and I think actually the idea for a lot of us was the terminus of all of these would be that you would play as the all 4 of them together.
Mm-hmm.
Although you are kind of stopping the apocalypse as them, it's very or you're
The
but
apocalypse got triggered too early, and it
yeah.
wasn't supposed to get triggered. And you're trying to
And they're
figure
on
out.
a smoke break, so they got to get out of there. They got to go get right with the Union. That's what the Darksiders are about. But the first one is great. You play as War.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a God of War like. Obviously, it was
Yes.
THQ's attempt to do a God of War game. It was really really fun. Um, the second one you played as Death,
Hmm.
riding a pale horse.
Yep.
And he was really cool. He was like more goth and emo, and he had these sides, but you could get more weapons, and it definitely suffered from its time where like the rule of threes for everything. Like you had to get 3 keys to go open one of 3 doors to go
Yeah.
fight one of 3 bosses.
Yeah.
And once you did all of those things 3 times, then you could go to the next level. And Darksiders 4 was after the fall of THQ, and it was kind of one of their first big like THQ Nordic games. You played as I'm gonna
I
say
believe it was.
Lust.
It was. I think so. Technically, so there was Darksiders 1, 2, and 3,
Mhm,
and there was
mhm.
Darksiders Genesis,
True.
where you played as Strife,
Yes.
which is not. Strife is not technically a 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like the pale horse. There's sick. There's famine. There's whatever.
Yeah.
But you played as the female sister of the gang,
Yes.
or the female the
Fury.
relative, Fury?
No, Fury was Darksider. Oh god, we're getting this. We need to do our four horsemen of the apocalypse homework. Jesus, no,
this
Jesus
is more
isn't there.
fun, I feel
No,
like. Jesus does show up in the fourth one. No, but like she had like a whip. The combat was more of the same, like
yeah,
kind of a lost. I feel like genre of games like this 3D action fighter
Devil
doesn't
May
exist
Cry.
even with God of War games. Yeah, it's sort of like a little pared down from that.
Yeah,
But anyway, to get a fourth one, I'm very excited to see that they're finishing it. Interested to see what it'll be, if it will be something that relaunched THQ Nordic as like a um, player.
right.
But they are kind of the only company making AA games anymore, which is cool to see. So I got high hopes.
High hopes. Okay, I didn't
That
expect
it'll
that.
be mid.
That it'll be a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get to talk more about it as more details come out. I'm very curious about what the game actually looks like running in engine, so that's going to be a big deciding factor for me. Like I said, I'd like to see them take the art style a little bit more realistic. I think that would help me get on board with the environment. All right. Next up on the news, Nintendo is raising their prices. What a such a unlikely thing for Nintendo to do. Nintendo raise prices on things. So they're citing tariffs is the reason that they are raising prices on their products. And specifically, when I say Nintendo, I am talking about Switch products. Now, I will clarify, this is not Switch 2. There has been no price raising when it comes to the Switch 2 or any of its accessories since they have announced those prices. But for the original Switch, for the Switch OLED, those prices have gone up. I believe like Switch Pro controllers have gone up to $80 as well. Switch One Joy-Con pairs have gone up to $80. The Switch Lite has gone up. The regular Switch has gone up. So everything is kind of seeing a $10 to $15 markup in price. And I mean, I understand the tariffs thing. I do. But for me, the fact that the standard Switch is $340 is pretty crazy. And that the Switch OLED is $400 is kind of ridiculous for what the Switch 2 is priced at.
Yeah.
Like typically, Xbox really doesn't push their old consoles as soon as they have another one. But what Sony will do is like, oh, the PlayStation 5 is coming out. We're cutting the prices on the PlayStation 4. So if like you want to get a PlayStation 4, that's fine. It's going to be the cheapest it's ever been. It's easily
It's gonna play games a little worse than what we're showing you, but here it is.
But it's like Sony has famously like, hey, the PS2 is still selling. Let's keep selling them. We're not going to stop selling them, and we're going to do so. That's why up until the Switch, the PlayStation 2 had been the most successful. Yeah, because they're like, if we can sell a PlayStation 2 for $150, we're going to do that. So yeah, and I don't know. It's a little ridiculous to me. I understand like some of the products, like the Switch Pro controllers, those being compatible with the Switch 2. I guess that kind of makes sense that they're going to go up in price. But I don't know. Even the Switch 2 controllers paying $80, when I can get a DualSense controller for $60, that is
crazy.
Undeniably a better freaking controller in every way. It's just a little hard for me to wrap my head around. Even the Joy-Cons. Joy-Cons, $80. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah. Bananas.
So
I think this is good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we deserve it. We suck. Hit us harder, Daddy Mario. Like, I don't know. I think it's a consequence of our country being bad at being a country. And we shouldn't have nice things. I wish they raised the prices on the Switch too. That's why I got mine, because I was like, in case they raise the prices, I want to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
And I could see it happening, all of a sudden Luigi gets called woke and the price on the Switch will go up 7,000% tariffs.
Wow.
So, I think, good. Like, get out there, Nintendo. Show people that there are consequences. for being stupid. Like, let's.
Yeah,
And I also don't think that they should, like, Nintendo's not ever been famous for putting deals on their games. Like, they make quality stuff, they make quality games, and they don't typically put them on sale. So, like,
right.
I think it makes sense that things would just raise in price as things got more expensive for them to sell to us. So,
Yeah, I mean, look, I feel you to a degree. It's really just the old Switch pricing going up. That's kind of
mhm,
I would say yes, the tariffs are going to raise the price. The consumer, us, we're going to have to pay that difference. But you would think that making a Switch now would be cheaper. And so
mhm,
I'm not saying Nintendo reduced the price of a Switch, but it's like it's going to get cheaper and cheaper as that technology gets older and older to make a
mhm.
Switch. Maybe you could just leave the price as it is
The
because
same.
yeah, the same. And if the Switch 2, if you need to raise the price on that, that almost makes more sense to me.
Mhm.
So pennies on the dollar here and there, but whatever. Um, all right, well, let's get into our main topic this week, which I'm actually pretty excited to talk about, and that is
Mhm.
Battlefield 6. Over the last 2 episodes, we have talked about Battlefield 6 as we have got some little tidbits of news that have poured out about it, but now we got the full Battlefield 6 presentation that has happened. We have lots of details. We have people who are able to upload gameplay of Battlefield 6 online. We have the beta, the open beta for Battlefield 6 coming this weekend, and you can get early access to that beta if you sign up. So you can actually start playing it on Thursday instead of on Saturday if you want to get.
Cool.
Also, it's nice. I just pre-downloaded it today. It's only 55 gigabytes.
That's a good size. I
And
like that.
apparently, that is how big the game is going to be when it launches. So they say it will potentially get bigger as DLC and maps come out, but they're starting
Mhm.
at 55 gigabytes. And I'm like, that's what I like to see. I don't want this giant old engine game taking up all this space on my computer. So
You listening, Call of Duty? We're talking about you.
we are talking about you. um,
Hey,
so
get 300 terabytes. Who cares? You could play as Nicki Minaj.
it sounded like older Morty from Rick and Morty right there. Like, who cares?
That's my terminus. That's where I'm headed, sadly.
Yeah, so I've seen I've talked a lot about this game. I do have more thoughts about it, Phil, but why don't you go first? Do you have any general impressions or positive things or negative things that you've seen about Battlefield? Are you going to download the beta this weekend to check it out? Where are you as far as this being a military shooter you're interested in?
It's definitely the only military shooter I'm interested in. Um, but I will say I can't play it this weekend because I'm gonna be out of town for Thursday through Saturday, and then Sunday I
Ah,
work in the morning. So I'll try to play it Sunday.
mhm.
But I'm glad they're doing 2 weekends of it because I really want to get my hands on it, see what Battlefield is like
Right.
made for the current generation. Because I Battlefield 2042 felt like a next gen, last gen game, and I don't know if it was released for both, but it definitely felt like that
It might have.
old minded mentality.
Right. It did come out
Yeah,
in 2021, so like right in the thick of the consoles
right on
for
the
yeah.
precipice. Yeah. So that is the thing that I'm excited about is seeing like what a true next gen or modern gen Battlefield game looks like. They've always killed it with their destruction. They've always killed it with making the combat feel like really, really frenetic and really chaotic in a way that was like exciting. And when you could learn how to ride that chaos and like be calm and executing the thing you're supposed to be doing while stuff is blowing up around you, you just felt kind of it was a unique feeling that no other game, in my opinion, has captured. So I'm excited to see that come back. Like this looks like it has Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 written all over it when they were just not trying to do anything fancy with it. They were just making Battlefield games.
Right.
Um, After that, I feel like even Battlefield 1 was very good, but it was a World War One game, and that was like its whole thing. Still very fun to play,
Right.
but I'm excited to get back to a modern iteration of those types of games because Battlefield 2042 was them doing a departure. What was
Gadgets
the
on
cop
gadgets on
one?
gadgets. Hardline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hardline. So this is like it's like the my favorite multiplayer shooter, at least in terms of like the modern military sense, coming back to the table and being like, "Hey, we made the game for you." Um, yeah, yeah. I always loved playing as a medic, and I think that'll be really fun to try and get to do.
Yep. I'm there with you.
So it's cool. It's the ultimate power. Like fixing a tank is cool, but running up to somebody who's dead and being like, "You're back in the fight," and not having to
Yeah.
respawn 20 minutes away is so cool.
Yeah, something so I think this was the case in 2042 as well, but everybody has the ability to revive people, which is cool. It's just if you're not a medic, it takes significantly longer. I think it takes like double the
Yeah.
amount of time. So that's great. A new mechanic that they're adding, I think for everybody, but especially the medic, is the ability to grab somebody when they're down and drag them like into cover, which I freaking love so much because
Yeah.
there's so many times in Battlefield where you'll get revived by a medic just because they're running by and they're trying to get the revive points, and then
Yeah.
they revive you in the middle of a kill zone, and then you just get killed again immediately. And
Yeah, a
so
bomb goes off right next to you as they're
exactly.
reviving you.
So just
They're like,
being able to drag somebody around a corner or just drag them back out of cover and then revive them, I love that mechanic so much. They've showed off a lot of like their new movement stuff, which is pretty good. They said that there's still like vaulting and climbing and everything like that, but in other games it was a little too much, where you were a little like superhuman of what you could vault and climb. So you can still do that, but it's just lessened. And the people who have played it have said it's a big improvement because it hinders players from getting like into spots or to areas that they shouldn't be in. That like just makes it so it's like, oh, I can get behind this person's spawn point kind of a thing and just kill them as they spawn, which is kind of nice. There's also like if you jump from a high building or a higher place, you do like a combat roll in first person to like break
that's
your
cool.
fall. So I don't know if you have to activate that or if that's something automatically that happens. That's really cool. And then, yeah, the biggest thing is the destruction. Destruction is back in a big way, which has always been part of Battlefield. But in 2042, you really couldn't blow up that much, to be honest. 2042 was more about like, we're going to show you giant sandstorm tornadoes that go through the map. And it's like, that's really cool that you can do that. As far as gameplay, though, it's not really, making my gameplay experience better. Excuse me. Other than like giving me a pretty scenic thing in the background to shoot in front of.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But like, yeah, I will say kind of as a critique for the gameplay that I've seen of it, the destruction, and I did not think I would be complaining about this, but from what I've seen, the destruction I think is a little overkill right now. Like when you can like take a grenade launcher and shoot a building, and like half
And
of the
the building
half
will
of the
totally
building will
collapse.
like blow out, and it's just like
Yeah.
that seems like not a maybe if a tank shot it, it would do that, but I think if I shoot a grenade at a wall, if the wall explodes, I think that's what it should be. Kind of like
Yeah.
the finals. Like the finals level of destructibility is like you can take a building down if you really want to, but you
It's
have
gonna take a minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to get the supports and you have to do all this other stuff. And I'm a little bit worried that the tactics in Battlefield 6 might just evolve to, hey, if we can destroy every building on the map relatively easily, that's what we're
Yeah.
going to do. And I don't know if that's going to
Just
be
make a
fun.
big that I think I have a similar concern that it does look like you could just level the map by just
Yeah.
blowing stuff up, blowing chunks of the ground up even to
Yeah.
just create like a flat zone in which you're just standing in line shooting at your opponent at whatever distance. So I think a lot of that's gonna have to I'm sure they have thought about this and they have paced it out to an extent.
Hmm.
But I bet that's what partially the beta, if I'm correct, partially the beta will be fine tuning that and seeing how quickly players realize they can, or how quickly the players initiate destruction, um, if you remember Battlefield 3 and 4, they had like large scale destruction events that would be
Mhm.
triggered by doing like a certain amount of destruction or doing a specific thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't they haven't shown anything like that in this game. It does seem like it's just more sort of organic destruction.
Yeah.
Or have you seen anything that like shows any kind of giant set piece stuff, or does it seem like it's
Not
all
not really. I'm sure there's a couple things here or there because, in order to do that set piece stuff, it's a lot of like template prepping. And I doubt they're like, oh, we're just going to completely throw out this template that we made for Battlefield 4 and for 2042. So I'm sure there's that, but it's a lot of what you're saying. It's more organic destruction. It's just that the destruction feels a little bit overpowered right now.
Mhm.
So, like, if, let me take out a building, don't have it take one RPG launcher to take out a 4-story structure. That doesn't make any sense. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to really play it. And also, one of the big things I wanted to bring up is just talking about Battlefield Portals, which made its debut a while ago in some other Battlefield games, but there it really seems like they're expanding it in Battlefield 6. So, of really what you're able to make. Like, I think they're looking at games like Fortnite, like Grand Theft Auto, where you can make games within games like Roblox. And they're doing that in Battlefield 6, where it's like, hey, if you want to make a obstacle course with all jets, you can make an obstacle course with all jets, no guns, so you're just racing. Or if it's a map with all tanks, or like if you just want to have tanks falling from the sky and you're a soldier and you have to dodge them,
Dodge them. Yeah.
that's a game too. And so I really like that, that they're giving the players that flexibility immediately. But at the same time, they have planned DLC, they have planned updates and roadmap stuff that they are going to continue working on while just giving the players Portal immediately. It feels a
Mhm.
lot different than how 343 handled Halo Infinite, which is like, we have all this planned content that we're going to dribble out over the next 4 years, and then when we run out of ideas, then we'll give the players the tools to take over. Um,
Yeah.
so this feels a little bit more straightforward and well planned. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. I really like the classes are back. I've complained about that before. I don't want these characters in Battlefield. I don't need them.
Yeah.
Give me a class. Let me customize my class. I will make the character. I got it.
It's kind of more fun when they're faceless characters anyway, because you're
Yeah.
not supposed to get attached to them. They're dying, and it feels weird to have them be like, "My name's Kevin.
Yeah.
This is my backstory." I don't care. No,
I don't want to know. I'm good.
it's war.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited to play it. I think that it's definitely generating a lot of buzz on social media, but I also do know that that's EA just buying up ad space as well. But I've been seeing a lot of memes of like Call of Duty people who are sick of Call of Duty who want something else to jump into. So I would
Mhm.
invite them to try this out.
Yeah, I think it's coming out at well, not coming out. It is in the exact right moment for its beta release to build up hype.
Yeah.
Like Battlefield really needed a win, and I think this is kind of the window that they will be able to get
Ah.
in and
Ah.
get in and blow up to possibly get hype going for their game again. Because it did feel like Battlefield was close to a dead franchise prior to this,
Yeah.
uh, just based on like they had 3 or 4 games in a row that kind of made a splash when they came out, and then nobody cared about.
Right.
So
100%. Yeah. So I'm very interested. I'm happy that they're keeping some sort of campaign. The maps look really cool. I will definitely report on it next episode, just like my impressions and whatnot of how I feel it is. But I don't know. I most of what I'm seeing, aside from the overkill with destruction, are things that I'm liking. Like, oh, you can, if you're playing as a class, you can actually use any weapon you like. It's just there's incentive to play with this type of weapon because you get passive bonuses. So it's like, it gives you freedom, but encourages players to, it's like if I'm the engineer, you probably should be playing with an SMG. But you don't have to if you really don't want to. So it's nice that they really have that flexibility there. So yeah. All right, Phil. Well, I mean, unless you have any other Battlefield thoughts or other gamer thoughts that you wanted to get in here real quick before we wrap things up, I think that's gonna be it. Oh, he's thinking. He's pondering. He's entered full statue thinker man.
Yeah, I got nothing. Slow week.
Slow week. No problem. Well, hopefully people out there will enjoy the Battlefield 6 open beta that's happening this weekend. If you want to download the beta early and get access to the beta on Thursday instead of on Saturday, you can go to Battlefield and sign up to get notified if they give you a code or anything like that. It's probably kind of being flooded now at this point, but you might still have a chance. I only signed up like a week and a half ago and I got a code for early access. So that's pretty nice. So yeah. Let us know what you think. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to the GGG Podcast, episode 87. If you like this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And if you're listening to the audio-only version of the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow us over there as well and leave us a review. We really dig it. It would cheer Phil up. He'd be really happy about it.
I need it.
Yeah, specifically comment on how much you love Phil. That would be great. So yeah. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a good week, Phil.